I am your host, Wesley, along with my co-host, Steve, and we're here to give you today's news from both sides of the political spectrum. Today, I got my guy Steve here with me yet again, and we're going to talk about a little bit of we got Trump, Putin, Zelensky. We got Gabbard. She came out and she's kicking people out off getting rid of their national security clearance, which is kind of crazy. She's been probably get kicked off a bunch of Democrats. We all know how that goes. And we also got this whole DC debacle that's going on for you guys. How are you doing today, Steve?
I'm doing well. How about yourself, Wesley?
I'm doing halfway decent. I can't complain. I'm still here, and we don't have National Guard on our streets right now, so I'm doing halfway decent. I'm pretty sure they're going to be coming to a street near me.
Keep it up, and you'll have them there.
And that's what we really believe that too. We really think this is for a reason. We'll get into that for you guys later. We're going to start off the show with news of, I won't just call it today, but the biggest news we got going on, which is Trump, Putin, Zelensky, and this whole entire Ukraine war that we're dealing with right now. My personal opinion on the war is that I hope that let's hope that Trump can get something settled with it, because none of us want to see this thing go any further. Suited and full of praise, Ukraine and allies woo Trump away from Putin. What a difference a suit makes. After his February fiasco in the Oval Office, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky's fabulous fashion decision, as well as the golf club, a personal letter, and support of European leaders he brought with him, appear to have helped shift the mood of his high-level White House talks on the peace with Russia. While the Kremlin publicly smarted, a sense of relief swept through Ukraine across Europe, and after the summit Monday with President Donald Trump, Zelensky hailed it Tuesday as a truly significant step toward ending the war. His team came away with talks relieved that worst-case scenarios were avoided, and pleased that Trump now appears to recognize the crucial importance of security guarantees for Kiev to secure any peace agreement, and the need for the U.S. to play a role in those arrangements. A source familiar with the Ukrainian government's thinking told NBC News. So, Steve, what was your takeaway from this? Did you feel like Trump was a great mediator for this? Do you think he did a fair-handed job when he met with Putin, and then when he met with Zelensky? What was your take on this entire?
Well, I'm gonna quote somebody that I just heard about yesterday about what she said, and that would be former presidential candidate Hillary Clinton.
Okay.
Stated that she would nominate Trump for a Nobel Peace Prize if he got this process done. That right there, that one statement says a lot.
When did she say that? Was it
the day before? It was during the whole process.
Okay.
But to me, that says a lot. It says a lot for what he's trying to do. Yeah, it's going to take some time, but at least he's trying to get it done. It didn't happen in the last administration, and which is no fault. I'm not going to blame Biden for that. I think we were at a point, in his 4 years where we thought Ukraine could possibly win this whole thing, right? So it was giving them arms, giving them the means to fight back.
Mm-hmm.
But I think now we've hit a point where it's not looking too good for Ukraine. It's not looking good for Zelensky. I think it's time to finally all the parties come to the table.
Do you think that, when I look at a victory for them, it was never going to be on the battlefield. That was not going to happen. You have a much larger, stronger country in Russia and their allies, which are China, North Korea, probably Iran. Who knows who else they're getting weapons from that we have no idea about, that's sticking their nose in this business. And they have way more people. So they have way more access to troops. They're getting troops from all over in all these other countries. That was never going to happen. What it really was them standing up, and because they were within, I think, 3 days or whatever it was, less than 2 weeks, they were almost ran through Kiev in the very beginning of this war. Then they got pushed back when we were supplying them with weapons. I think the biggest damage came in, I'm sorry to say it, is when Trump came into office and he started pulling weapons from Ukraine. When he started pulling our intelligence from Ukraine. I think that's what kind of hurt them more than anything else. This was never about them winning. This was about them holding the line, because this is about Putin taking back the former Russian blocks. That he's not going to what he thought was he's going to run run through Ukraine and head over to Poland. That's what he thought. Belarus even had to tell him, hey, don't come over here. And Belarus is an ally of his. They were like, oh, hey, don't come over here with that, because we'll, you put nukes over here. Don't forget, you did put some nukes over here for us. So I really feel like, to me, I won't quote someone, but I'll kind of give the gist of what they said. They said that Trump's not really negotiating peace; he's negotiating Russia's standpoint at this point in time, and that's what I feel like. And I know that sounds like me just being very partisan, but I feel like that's what he's doing, basically saying, "Hey, you're going to have to give this stuff up and give up everything you want, and that for peace. That's pretty much what you're going to have to do, and that's not a very good way of."
Well, I look at it this way. You had all these people that came over from Europe, different leaders from Europe and the community over there that we invited over. And I look at it's on their doorstep. Okay. The issue is on their doorstep. It's not on ours. Okay. We've not lost blood. We've only lost weapons. That's all we've lost in this fight. But it's up to the Europeans to take the stand now and fight back. I think from Zelensky's standpoint, he's got some considerations to make. Okay. How far does he go with this? How far does he take the killing, the deaths of his soldiers, his civilians? How far does it go? At what point do you say enough's enough? Okay, I'm going to have to think about conceding the Donbass region or Crimea, or what will it take for Putin? Because what did Putin do after he left? He bombed them again.
Yeah, this is telling you he doesn't want peace. He's been doing this. He's been doing this in Trump's face this entire time. Oh yeah, buddy. Come over and play in Trump's face and go back.
I get what you're saying. But here's the issue for me. You have, again, and I've brought this up numerous times. A lot of people give Trump flack for going out of his way to bring a Putin over here, and it looks like he's standing him up and putting the red carpet out for him. But he's not the first person to do it.
Rolling him out right in front of his plane.
He's not the first president to do that.
During wartime, in fact,
Hillary Clinton took a damn reset button over there
during wartime. During wartime, you know what I mean? You invite him over. You're inviting him over.
When.
Put him in a.
Did you see what he did? He made him walk through. He made him walk through 2 stealth bombers and flew a B-2 over his head. Come on, that's intimidating stuff. And did you see his reaction when it happened?
He looked up.
Yeah, he looked up and he's like, "Holy shit!" That's intimidating to me.
How many pictures they get of that B-2 bomber?
Over here. He got him to come to the United States. I don't care. It's Alaska. Yes,
it's Alaska.
It's still the
That's
United
former
States.
Russian territory. This is not me. I hope he does come up with some type of a resolution to this war. But do I believe that he is this is my personal opinion. I believe that he is compromised by Russia. I've seen Putin play him every single time at every single turn. He has never.
It's never been proven.
It's my belief. It's my belief. That's not to say that's not to say that it's true. It's just my belief. I'm not coming with, but there are facts that kind of do precipitate. Do I believe someone who gives you money can compromise you? Yes, I believe that.
China did it with Biden.
I believe someone who gives you money can compromise you.
That's the same opinion about Biden. He was compromised by China and Ukraine.
We didn't see. We saw was a staunch support for Taiwan under Biden. We also saw an immense increase in our chip making ability under Biden to make sure to thwart any kind of efforts from China holding us hostage if they did take Taiwan. So there's a lot of things he did to kind of show that. So all of America is in business with Chinese. But that's not to say, this is not me. I'm not here to defend whether or not Biden had business dealings with the Chinese or what was going on, because I think a lot of our politicians are bought. That's not to say that, but I believe that Trump
I would agree with
that. And I can't sit back. Oh, there's nothing you're doing with Ukraine. There probably is. But do I believe that Ukraine is a good cause for us? Yes, I do. You know why? Because I believe that Russia is our enemy. And that's a messed up thing to say, because I've never been to Russia. I don't know anyone. I know some Russians. I do. But I believe through diplomatic and political, things that have happened in the world, that they're our enemy right now. And there's just no other way around it. Would it be best if they were not? Yeah, it'd be great, but they are. And I think we both have the same goal.
But now that Ukraine is going to have Article 5, they're not going to be a part of NATO, but they're going to have the Article 5 assurances.
Come on. Are we going to do that one again this time? Look, we gave them assurances during in 1990 when they gave away those 4,500.
Not NATO Article 5 assurances.
No, NATO, but they're not a part of NATO. They're not really giving those assurances. We're not putting troops over there. So
now they have a foothold and they have a foot in the door of NATO. Yes or no?
I don't think so. I think he'll still invade, and if America is not willing to go to war, not willing to go to, scared to go to nuclear war again, because Putin will threaten that anytime, we won't send troops over there. It'll be the same thing. They don't have Article 5. It's a ploy, and I wouldn't believe it, but I know he has to go for it. You know what I mean? If I gave you 4,500 nuclear weapons and you told me that you make sure that these people never invade my country, am I going to believe you now that I don't have the nuclear weapons and they just took a fifth of my country? Am I going to believe you now? I have to believe you, because there's no other way around it, because people cannot support it.
But it's not just the United States. It's also the European Union, Great Britain. All of them are doing it.
So they go to war without us. They go to war with Russia without us. No, they don't, because there's more. No, they don't. Not right now. They're not even strong enough.
No, they're not going to do that now.
Who has the largest army in all of Europe right now? Who has the largest army in all of Europe? I'm going to say I know that Poland's building the largest one. It's like 300,000 people. 300,000, which will be the largest army. What, you know what I mean? Like that, Russia had that many people killed in 3 months last year. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm just joking. I'm saying, but so they're not really worried about you. They got way more nukes than all of you. So if you try to jump me, if you jump me, I'm gonna hit somebody with these nukes.
You're gonna throw down.
You know what I mean? So if we're not willing to go to war with them, we don't have a steadfast president in office. If they catch another Trump in office.
Okay, we are basically at war with Russia now. It's our weapons being fired over there.
A proxy war. That's the greatest war to be in.
War, yeah,
that's the greatest war to be in. No troops getting killed.
You're not saying that we're not supporting them, but we're still giving them weapons to fight. So we are still involved.
Now they're paying for it. Now they're paying for the weapons. Before we were giving them to them. It's like this. I'd rather
give away the farm.
You know, if I got extra weapons and I can make new ones, what we did was give them weapons.
Our capacity for making new weapons has slowed down over the years.
Well, what do we need to do?
Thanks to Democrats.
If we're building old weaponry, that doesn't make sense. Why am I building F whatever fighters that we don't need anymore, and we can be building drones? Drones work better than F whatever. You know what I mean, you can build $1,000 drones or taking out tanks. We see it happen in the war right now. Ukraine has some of the best drone making capabilities in the world.
$1,000 drones.
Yeah, they're saying it's like $1,000 drones, man.
Bomb that's on the drone.
Oh,
the drone worth $100,000.
No, these aren't the big drones you're thinking about. These aren't the kind they're making in Turkey and places like that. They're literally making drone factories of little drones that they're sending in. They're blowing up tanks. I'm telling you, go look it up. They talked about it like, hey, we're making these little makeshift. Not all of them are like this, but most of them are. When you see those drone swarms, they're not the huge drones you're seeing. They're small.
Oh no, they're not. But they also have the big ones too.
They do. No, they do, but the ones that are most effective are the little ones. They can just shift in there and just shift around. They're chasing troops. Troops are running from the drone. I'm watching on camera. He's running around the tank, and boom.
But why are we not letting the Europeans take the lead on this? They've kind of shied away from the whole thing over the last.
I think the one thing I can say that Trump did do, he got them to raise
involved.
He got them to raise their spending on defense. That's one thing I can say that he did. You know, but we have to understand that, you know, we've been one of the biggest things. We have bases all over the world, and the reason why we had these bases all over the world because we were taking control of the act of all shipping lanes, and we had control of that.
Not only that, but you were also, once the wall came down, we put bases in places that where you know the USSR was the prevalent.
Exactly. So it made us stronger.
But here's the problem. Then Clinton came in, a drawdown happened. Okay, Obama came in, a drawdown happened. Even under Bush Jr., he didn't draw it down because he just wanted to go to war. But even during Trump's, there was a slowdown in recruiting and stuff. Biden, the same thing. Biden had a slowdown and recruiting went down. It's changed. It's changed now. We're
we
starting
need
to go
to
up,
change our thought process on this whole
yeah.
thing. We're thinking wrong. We're thinking still Cold War. We start thinking about, we don't need a bunch of, I don't need I mean, don't get me wrong.
Well, I
You
mean,
need troops. You always need
it
troops.
is still another Cold War.
I mean,
you think
we have with
basically have
China,
the same people on the same side. Well, China, Russia, who is basically still the USSR. You're not going to tell me any differently. You got a guy that's running the country as a former KGB. So
I mean, come on, and his whole mindset is, if you look at the natural resources.
We spent 70 years in a Cold War with Russia, and we broke it for what, 2 decades, and now it's back.
I mean, it's not even that, and that's why you keep it. That's why, I mean, it's our fault that we allowed it to come back. We allowed things to happen that we should not have. We turned our back and started paying attention to Afghanistan and stealing oil from the Middle East, or we don't even call it the Middle East. You know what I mean? From Asia. You know, we started stealing money from those guys over there, and that's the problem. That's what we did wrong. We should have kept our eye on the ball, which was China, Russia, you know, and that whole block of countries that are coming up next.
They still have a lot of money over there. Don't be fooled.
Who are you talking about?
In the Middle
in
East.
Russia?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No. I'm talking about the you're saying we stole oil from them and made money.
They're
still making money.
No, that was we shifted our focus to that. Is what I'm saying. Like that's what we got. Well, that was the nation. That was the empire building phase where Cheney wanted us to go in there and Rumsfeld wanted us to go in there and take over the whole entire. You know, I don't like to call it the Middle East because it's not really that, but you know, it's whatever. But you know what I'm saying? Take over that region. That was their personal thing. That's why I'm not saying I know they got so much oil over in the Middle East and so many, you know, natural gas, stuff like that. They're going to be fine, but that's not the point. If we should have, what we should have done is kept our eye on the ball. Right now, I feel like, getting back to the original point of it all, I feel like he got steamrolled. And this is what Fox said themselves. He went in there and dude steamrolled him. He came out of that meeting. Now all of a sudden he has a different frame of mind. Something was said during that meeting, which scared Trump. You saw his face change. Oh, well, I don't think that we need a ceasefire now. I never did any of my other peace deals with a ceasefire. You changed your whole ideology. Every time this guy comes around, you change your whole entire mind. Something's up with this dude. You know, something's not right.
I didn't see any of that. I don't see not even the people even the people on legacy media have been not praising him, but he's not looking like a joke. They're not looking at it like a joke happened. They're sitting there telling the world, hey, man, we need to do something about this. That's why you invite all those European leaders over to get them more involved. Because
you think that's why they came? I don't think that's why they came. I think they came because of what happened last time. I think they came.
No, they came because we invited them over.
No, I believe it, but I believe they came because of what happened last time, because of the debacle that happened last time in the White House. When Zelensky was there, when he sat there and he basically tried to, you don't have the cards, and treat him like dirt. This is because we have a bad president.
They brought him over. It wasn't because of that. That's not why. You needed to get them involved because they got more of a stake in the game than we do. I mean, 100%. That they have to be involved more because A, they're giving more money to NATO. B, they have the wherewithal to push back on Putin too. We can't be the world's police. Okay. Mm-hmm. Somebody else has to take the mantle away from us over there. We can't do it all. We have to get them involved and they have to do more. That's why they were here. It wasn't because of what happened with Zelensky last time. It's because Trump needed to get them involved, and that's what he's doing.
I think that too, but I think that really the big part of it also was so that it did not have a replay of the last time when he was here. They can't afford that. They can't afford to lose America in this. We are basically, I mean, if you look at it, if you add up all those countries who are most of the countries who are in NATO, we probably have a larger population than all of them almost put together. Probably. Awesome. Probably a good chance of it. You know what I mean? Like, so if at the end of the day, it's not our job to be the world's police, but without NATO, America is not America. NATO's owed money. NATO's like having a person who's been around for a long time and has spies in every single country because most of them have colonized the whole entire world at some point in time. So they're everywhere. That's what NATO is. It's basically the house's money. Period. And that's why we are. But to me, I look at NATO like we need to keep friendships with them. We need to start looking at the rest of the world for what it really is. The world is changing very, very rapidly. And we need to start not just focusing in on Europe because, it's no longer just about Europe and that part of the world anymore. It's about South America, Africa, Asia. I mean, so there's a part of Asia that's growing at such a rapid pace that pretty much.
But the problem is Ukraine's not worried about those other places in the world. They're focused on surviving.
Not right now.
They're
Not right
focused on
now.
surviving.
Not right now. Absolutely.
They need, and what they need to do is, at what point though do you say enough's enough, and you say we're done? Go ahead and take that. We're done with it, because just have it.
So just take.
I don't know. I'm not the one that's going to sit here and say yes. That's exactly what they need to do, because it is a scary proposition to lose that.
Yeah, I mean, that's your people. You give up your people. You give up a lot. They basically are a landlocked country almost right now. Know that, right?
Yeah, and you give up access to the Black Sea. Right?
I mean, the Donbass. I mean, more or less, they have a little sliver of land still. I want that does have access to the Black Sea. I mean, but that can be taken from them at any given time because they decide to go ahead and invade, or say that they want to annex something, or say that these people over here want to become Russian. They can do the same thing all over again. They've done it in Georgia. They've done it in several places. This is why.
What incentive does Putin have to stop?
None at all.
Unless you give him part of that region to say, all right, is that going to make you stop?
For now,
I don't know. I don't know. I can't say that's a good thing or a bad thing.
That's a horrible thing. That's like appeasement.
My opinion would be it's a bad thing, right?
It's appeasement.
You're kind of losing your sovereignty as well when that happens.
But what happens next is he's going to do it again.
To avoid, and this happens with every war, somebody has to give up something, right? Every war, somebody gives up something.
Yeah, I think Putin is pretty much like our era's version of Hitler to a degree. You know what I mean? Not to say not to run into not to run into everything that Hitler did.
Stalin. He's more like a Stalin.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if Stalin invaded this many countries though. I mean, I'm not sure. Don't get me wrong. I don't have the
in World War II, no. But I mean, they already had all that Eastern Bloc pretty much.
You know what I mean? So he's basically, I mean, this guy right here, he understands that. I always talk this all the time. It's they have to fight. They have to fight. There's they can't stop now. They can stop now to appease the world, but they have to fight, or else Russia will no longer exist. What'll happen is China's going to end up annexing a large portion of Eastern Russia. Watch.
That's a very good possibility, because you have a lot of Chinese descendants there that live in that part of the country.
And Russia just lost 1 million people. I mean, I won't say 1 million troops died, but either were severely wounded or are gone. That's 1 million men of fighting age. That means of childbirthing age.
It's a population thing, right?
Yeah,
I get that. It's a population thing.
They're done.
But at some point, there has to be a compromise somewhere. Every war ends in a compromise, and this one is no different. We gave when Germany fell in World War II, the United States compromised and gave them
half.
part of Now they only had a small half of Germany, a small part of Germany. I mean, they had the East Berlin, right? So, but I mean, it wasn't a significant amount of land that they gave them. It was a strategic amount of land that they gave them, yes. But the problem is, Germany lost everything in World War I and World War II, and it's because they had to give up what they had to give up. And every war has its compromises, and this one's not going to be any different. This one won't be any different.
You know what I will say though, just so we won't prolong this. But what I will say about this is that I do believe that Ukraine will get back its land, because I believe.
I hope so. I think
not now. It won't happen like during this sec. He has to take this. If you don't, then what did you fight for? You have to go back home, and you're weakened amongst your people. You're already, I think he's suffering from some type of neurological condition. I've seen his legs kind of buckling. Did you see that video where his legs were kind of like kicking? I'm like, and he's getting older. You can kind of tell in his face he's had his face trying to stay younger. Yeah. You can kind of he's not
riding shirtless on horses anymore.
You get what I'm saying? He's probably he's probably a done deal. When you know how it goes, we get older, things kind of change a little bit. And so at the end of the day, I think they will, only because I think Russia will not be able to hold this land. They just won't.
I think at some point it'll be after Putin's gone. I don't know who's going to take over. Absolutely. I don't know who's going to take over for when he dies, or when he gets taken out of power, or what happens. But eventually somebody hopefully comes along and has some damn common sense over there, and can be a real leader for those people. Because right now they don't have one. No, they have a bully. They have a bully.
Absolutely, and it's just me. You don't appease a bully. Not You don't. If you do, then we all know how this kind of.
Sometimes you got to give your lunch money up. Sometimes you got to give that lunch.
Don't get me wrong. They're gonna take this loss. They have to take this loss. But either that or you keep fighting it until the last man's gone. They got to take this loss.
But eventually that bully gets his comeuppance.
Absolutely. I know you have. We want to talk about. Gabby Gifford.
Gabby Gifford.
Gabby Tulsi Gabbard. I'm sorry. I know that's your girl there. That's
She's not my girl.
No, not saying it that way. I know that you guys really like her over in the Republican Party there. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I think she's swell. She's swell.
Okay. What do you got for?
All right, so we're gonna talk a little bit about this. So here's the headline: Gabbard removes clearances from 37 officials at Trump's direction over politicizing intelligence. Director of National Intelligence, the DNI, Tulsi Gabbard, on Tuesday announced her office had stripped security clearances from 37 current and former intelligence officials, accusing them of politicizing and manipulating intelligence. A DNI memo sent out on Monday included names of officials who worked at the CIA, NSA, State Department, and National Security Council, including former Obama DNI James Clapper, who Gabbard claimed told officials to compromise normal procedures to rush a 2017 intelligence community assessment related to Russia's influence in the 2016 election. So, give me your thoughts on that.
So
why do you think she did it? Why do you think she did it?
Because they're going to go after Democrats. This is what they do, man. This administration is like this is something that your most normal administrations don't do. You don't go after your political. Oh, you're a Republican. We're going to strip all you guys of your national security clearance. We're going to treat you like this. We're going to make sure this is all, to me, at the end of the day, this was a big like smoke screen. You come out this is not to switch the subject because we're not going to, but they come out with the Epstein files, and all of a sudden Tulsi's like, oh, hey, we got all this information on Obama, the Clintons, all this other stuff. We got all this stuff.
It's kind of weird timing, isn't it? I'll give you that. It's weird timing. I mean?
Oh, we got the biggest news ever, the Russia hoax, Russia. And this, I think it was just to say, this is not to say that the Russian thing was not a hoax. I mean, obviously the dossier was not real. Okay. This is not to say certain parts of it were not fabricated. But at the end of the day, no one cares at this point in time. No one really cares. I'm not saying that some people may or may not. I guess some people do, obviously, like yourself. But most people are like, you know what? We don't really care about that. We've moved past that point right now. You've been president 2 times ever since this ever happened. No one cares. Okay. Obviously, people voted for you, so they didn't believe that you were a part of some Russian scheme. So, I mean, why are we talking about this now? When did this become a bombshell thing?
So,
go ahead.
I mean, just to give you a little bit of education on security clearances. When you leave the service, you leave the government, your clearance goes bye-bye. Why these people still have their security clearances, I have no clue. They don't need them. They're not there to get briefings anymore. They're not making decisions on what's going to happen in the intelligence field. Zero amount of influence there. So why do those 37 people still have a clearance? Answer that question.
They probably, I guarantee you, Trump and his people probably still had clearance except for the one, but that's probably how they do business in Washington. They probably don't have the uppermost level. They probably don't have the level of security where it's like, hey, you can go in here and see these particular classified documents. This is all like, if they're read in, they can still do it. That's why they have that. This is like a dog and pony thing, what she's doing right now. I'm going to pull these clearances. They're probably like, oh, you can go into the White House, or you can go into this place over here, like little stuff. They probably don't have I bet you they can't go into top level briefings. I bet you they can't do that. I bet you no former Democrat or former Republican who when the opposite parties in power can walk into a briefing and be like, I'm going to sit here with you guys.
I still think they get it. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong. It's been a long time since I was in the military and had that clearance. But they can still get briefings on certain things, certain aspects.
They're probably low level briefings, nothing that's probably.
But again,
you know what I mean?
What's the point of having it if you don't use it, or you're not? I
understand.
Because if they ever get hired back in again, they can get that clearance.
Well, like I'm saying,
right back on.
It's probably customary that this happens. I mean, this has probably been going on for administration after administration where people don't lose those clearances because it's like once you're in, it's like a fraternity for most of these people. Once they're in, they can talk to each other about different things. They're not worried about it. But this was just I'm a parade you around like I just did something big. Oh, we just cut 37 security clearances from these people because they're just, I mean, come on, let's just be real over here. No one really cares. Most of you guys are bought and sold to other countries already. Most of you guys are passing information to other countries already. Both parties. You know what I mean? It's happening.
Okay. So
you know what I mean?
If you're saying that, so you just answered my question. They don't need
no. What I'm saying is they're probably not getting new information. And the new information they're probably getting is probably from people who they've done business with in the past, or probably people from other different administrations. People are not Democrat, Republican most times when they're in those positions. Most times they're for themselves. They got friends from both sides of the aisle. Except for if you work for Trump and you have no clue about what's going on here. You're just in here because it's like, you know, who can I find that's the worst possible candidate who's never been involved in anything like this ever before in their life and would do a horrible job of listening to what I say. And then Trump's going to choose you. That's who he's going to choose. That's who he's chosen basically for all positions that he's had right here. The worst possible people. I haven't seen anyone very, very good. Maybe Pam Bondi to some degree, but she hasn't done a very good job either. Her own party has called to kick her out. So this is me. I don't know why they took away these people's security clearance who's been in every aspect of our government for years. Obviously, they can't be
trusted to have one because they tried to pull a hoax on the American people.
That's yet to be determined.
No, that's been determined.
By who?
It was a hoax. It was in the Mueller report, for Christ's sake. Come on, wake up.
No. You're saying that the dossier. This isn't the same.
That's the Russia hoax.
That was allegedly done by Hillary Clinton, right? She's the one that's done all that. You know what I mean? But
why do you think? Where do you think they got the FISA warrants from? Because of the dossier.
Dude was already president at that time. He wasn't going anywhere. He was president. Didn't matter really. I mean, they could say whatever they want, but they had no real power. The only person who had power at that time was Comey. He's the only one who was still in office. Who else was still there? Was Brennan in there? I don't think he was.
No,
I don't think Clinton or any of those guys were there.
No,
the only one was still there.
This was in January prior to the inauguration.
The dossier came out in January prior to that.
It came out prior to that. Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Why do you think they got the FISA warrants for Carter Page?
I don't.
They
remember.
were looking at him because they lied about it to the FISA court.
I don't know. I can't say that I know that for sure. So I mean, I'm pretty sure you probably have a better grasp of this whole entire thing that happened in 2016 that no one that's not affecting us one bit. But hey, if they have proof that they did this stuff,
listen,
they have proof. They have proof.
You like to use the word cabal. It's cabal, but that was a cabal trying to get a
cabal.
person.
When I say cabal,
you said cabal one time.
I don't remember saying cabal. I don't say cabal.
You said
you want me to have said cabal. That's what this. We'll go with it.
Cabal.
We'll go with it.
You say cabal, but you said cabal. I was like, well, we're not in Afghanistan.
But
anyway, go back and watch. Go
I believe. Go ahead.
It was during the Epstein episode that we had. Anyway, regardless, they tried to circumvent the justice system, the intel system, all because they didn't want Trump to be in office. They made it look as though he was in cahoots with Russia, and I know you're going to say, well, he was, but there's no proof of it.
This is what I'm going to say.
It was all fake.
Russia. If you have those emails, I need the emails. The next day they show up. I don't know. You know what I mean? To me, if I call on you, I say,
we already talked about that one.
Beelzebub.
We already know.
If I call on Beelzebub, listen, if I call on Beelzebub, the next day, wherever I call before shows up, it sounds like we might have some type of something in cahoots right at that point in time.
You might have called. You might have called him about something.
You know what I mean? That's how I'm looking. I'm like, man, it sounds real strange to me right now.
I'll tell you what, though, you screwed up somehow. That deal that you made with him to keep Trump out the second round.
I didn't make a deal. That one up. I wish I would have. I wish I would have taken the deal. I was trying to save my soul. I was like, nah, we'll see what happens. I think people have more common sense than to vote for this guy. But hey,
from a person who's held a top secret security clearance, I get it. You know, I've told you before. My biggest thing about Hillary, I didn't care. You know, she could have been the greatest presidential candidate to ever live. But what she did threw me completely for a loop and away from her, period. She could have had great ideas. She could have been a great president. But anybody else who would have done that would still be in Leavenworth today. Period. End of story. Okay. She got nothing. She skated.
We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out what happened here because
I hope so. I really do. I want it because it needs to happen.
If this turns out to be a big dud and nothing comes of it, what then?
And
because you guys have all the power to do everything you need to do right.
Who was it? Mike Waltz, the guy who had the what was that thing called that they used to talk on?
Yeah, I know you're talking about the signal app or whatever that is.
But he should have been fired for that.
You know where he's at right now? You know where he's at? He's not fired. He wasn't fired. He was brought.
No, he got another job.
Yeah, right in the UN. He's like, hey, Mike Waltz, you're doing a great job over in the UN now. Come on. Moved you right over here. We're not going to fire you.
What's the phrase? What's the phrase? You F up, you move up.
You know what I mean? You know, so I mean, it's to me, all I'm saying is this right here. If they did do these things, then okay. But stripping security clearances, everything they're doing now is just distractions.
It's the right thing to do. It's the right thing.
That's fine. That's fine. Distractions.
It's the right thing to do.
Distraction.
It's not about that. It's not about that. It really is. They're not using them. They're not utilizing them. Why should they have them?
But they've been doing
this. I don't have mine anymore.
But this isn't the first time this is the first time they've been stripping people of security clearance. They did it when he first walked in the door. He does the worst possible thing. He does the most abnormal things that there are to possibly do to America. He does them consistently.
There's nothing. But what's the problem with stripping a security clearance if somebody doesn't need it?
You know what? I don't mind it. I don't really care. But the point of it is, though, it's all a distraction. Knowing all this was a distraction. This is a whole entire process of what he's doing. It's great that she can do that. Well, why don't you help release the Epstein files then? You guys can do all this. You guys got all this time.
They're having hearings.
Do all this
they're having hearings about it.
Why do we got to have a hearing? Why do we got to have a hearing about this? Why do we have to have a hearing?
Bill Barr was just brought in.
Why do we have? I don't even have to go. We don't have to go into this right now. But why do we got to have a hearing? We have to have a hearing about anything else. Anything else you want to do? You can just do what you got to do.
About everything. There's hearings every single day. I think in the people's house there.
I understand, but me personally, I don't think that it's a big deal, but it could be. I don't know. You know what I mean? But let's check into it. Let's see where it goes. I really want to see.
Cross our fingers. Let's cross our fingers for more news to come out about it, so we can have more material for our show.
Absolutely. And I also think that if Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton, if they get them on subpoena and they actually come in and talk, that'll be big. They're going to ask them all kind of crazy questions. I know that's why I know he's not coming in. If I'm Bill, I'm not going. You notice Bill hasn't said a word.
I want to know. I still want to know what is. I want to know what is. I still haven't figured that one out yet. It's been 30 years. It's been 30 years, and I don't know what is. What's your definition of is?
Bill was a different creature. He just was. He's not. If I'm Bill's been really, really quiet. If you think about it, he hasn't said a word. Pete, you haven't heard anything. Like, Bill, just be quiet, okay? He might just drop off one of these days. We might not, you know what I mean? He might just be finished. Like, oh my God, you know, Bill's one of our better presidents, I should say, when it came as far as the economy was concerned. He was a decent president. Bunch of other stuff I can't really vouch for him for. I'm gonna Trump adds firepower to National Guard presence in D.C. The number of National Guard troops patrolling Washington, D.C. will more than double in the coming days after Mississippi, Ohio, South Carolina, and West Virginia in the past several days committed troops to President Trump's federal takeover of the city. Coupled with indications that the Guard members may soon be carrying weapons, a reversal of their initial orders, the new deployment marks a major escalation of Trump's efforts to take over law enforcement in Washington. The roughly 800 D.C. National Guard troops already deployed in the capital will be joined by about 200 personnel from Mississippi, between 300 and 400 from West Virginia, 150 from Ohio, and 200 from South Carolina, beefing up a presence that has largely stood idle around typically low-crime, tourist-heavy areas in the city. Crime is out of control here, and it's clear something must be done to combat it, Mississippi Governor Tate Reeves said in a statement Monday, becoming the latest Republican governor to answer to Trump's administration's request to send National Guard members to Washington. I mean, this is just. Let me hear your viewpoint. I don't even want to jump into. I really want to hear what you think about this situation.
Is Bowser's the mayor's name there, right?
I'm not absolutely sure.
Miriam Bowser, something like that. Anyway, I believe Bowser is her name.
Okay.
But she was one of the first people to come out and thank Trump for it. She's a Democrat.
She's the mayor of
DC.
Washington, D.C. I don't know about that one. I'd have to see that firsthand. I'm going to tell you why I couldn't believe that, because I don't believe that she's going to thank someone for taking over her city from her. When she has her crime rate has been falling. She's going to thank you for coming in and federalizing her city that did not need to be. She's basically saying, I'm not doing my job. It'd be like me saying, I'm not doing my job. Fire me.
It's not about doing the job. It's not about not doing your job. It's about not having the resources to do the job.
I mean, but her crime rate has fallen. It's not. I don't think it has anything to do with that. I think they were doing just
the murder rate has dropped. Yes,
overall crime rate probably has dropped. You know what I mean? I think the overall crime rate has probably dropped. Why are we sending federal troops into American cities? I think that unless there's anarchy, total lawlessness, unless there's some type of purge going on, that's the only way we should be sending in federal troops into any American city. Right now, this is my personal belief. I think that he's trying to create a buffer zone because he knows he's going to go into other cities. He doesn't want people at the White House door, at the gate, pushing the gate in, trying to get him rioting. This is what I think he's trying to do right now. I've watched him have troops walk around the city talking about, hey, Donald Trump really wanted us to help you. They said Trump saying like 20 times to these guys who are just sitting on their stairs. You got your ID on you? Why are you asking me for anything? This is America. Where are you asking me for anything? Why are you even walking up talking to me? Why? Period. Why are you setting up I guess they had like speed traps or whatever you want to call them. Not even speed traps, just like checkpoints where they're pulling people over. Anyone who drives through here, they're looking at your IDs. They're doing, and they had like 50, 60 people just standing around. That's our tax dollars at work for no reason. It wasn't like this is a hugely crime area. And even if it were, the local police can handle it. That's why crime has been going down. It doesn't make sense to me at all.
Year end of, let's see, 2024 and 2025, right? Mm-hmm. Year end for 2024, as of August of 2024, there were 114 homicides. Right now, as of the same time, as of August 19th, there's 101 homicides. Okay. Now, let's see, that was for the year of 2023, and there were 274 homicides. 187 homicides. Yes, crime is going down in the city, but the problem is you still have a lack of police officers helping to roam the streets. So regardless of whether crime is down or not, a lot of it may not be being reported either.
Man, is that what we're gonna do now? Is that what we're gonna do?
We're gonna
go with the not reporting now. So now I'm gonna go with the what is. Now we're gonna ask that question.
What is?
No, like, come on.
How many less police are there than there were in 24 and 23? How many?
Well,
we don't know. I don't know that number.
Right now, there's less crime. Maybe I should turn some of these police officers into doing something else. Maybe they should be doing, maybe I should bring in some mental health experts. Maybe some of this has to do with other reasons. Maybe some of this has to do with, maybe I should invest that money elsewhere. That's how I look at it. If things are getting better, this is an overreach. And we don't see this and stop this now, it's a problem. You've already done it in LA. You've already sent in 2,000 National Guard there. You're sent in 700 Marines over there as well. Now you have governors of poor states who have fentanyl problems and debt problems and healthcare problems, all kinds of other problems in their state, telling you crime is out of control. Do you live there? Are you from there? You got cities within in your state that are out of control. That's the problem. But you don't want them in yours. You want the migrant workers working there, huh? Because it's just crazy to me. This is just total anarchy. It's becoming to the point to where you're pitting states against states, man. That's a problem.
You do know what anarchy means, right?
I'm talking about.
You're not using it.
I'm talking about from a government standpoint. I'm talking about from a government standpoint.
I'm talking against the government.
I'm talking about basically they are. If you really look at it, they are
a bad thing.
They are when you look at it, they are against the government. They are against the actual, because this isn't a real government to me. I don't look at Trump as being a true form of American government. I believe he's an authoritarian. They are against the actual laws and the way America what is ran. This is what they are.
Wait, hold
the
on,
way they're running things, it's a fact.
Does the law state that he's allowed to deploy National Guard troops?
I think it's for like 72 hours. or something like that. He's allowed to do it for like 72 hours. If there's some type of I think that's the article. I think I read this somewhere. I believe I read this somewhere. It's like for a certain amount of time he's allowed to do it for. It's not for like, I can do this. And there has to be a reason behind it. If he does it outside of the 72 hours, it has to be like some kind of emergency reason. And he's making up lies to continue on with this because there's not an emergency. That's why people are standing around with their arms like this, just not doing anything because there's nothing going on. There was no problem to begin with. He does have that's why he did it there first, because now it's a test run. Now everyone's fine with it. Oh yeah, this is great. Put him in your city. Now let's go in your backyard and let him walk around in your backyard and at your house and tell you to shut up, which they won't do because they'll treat you guys a lot better because they're going to be told to treat you better. Oh, make sure you don't do this over here where Billy Bob stays. The rest of these people, they're not going to do that to them. But if they go to the inner cities, they're going to treat them the worst. They get on the ground. What's your name? Give me your ID.
So National Guard deployments vary in length, typically ranging from a few weeks to a year or more.
No. But I'm talking about for the law that he used in order to do it in D.C. It's different. For the law that he used to do, I think it's like articles. So I can't remember what it is, but it's like for 72 hours they have the ability to do it for 72 hours, but they can do it for longer if they in DC he did it under a law that was easy for him to do it because it's already like it's our capital.
It's already been established.
Yes, and so he had the ability to do it for that purpose, but it's like 72 hours. Then he can do it for longer if there's some emergency. But what emergency is there? Oh, stealing's up, theft is up. What's the emergency? Let's be real. And now we don't have enough police officers deal with theft. That's what we're talking about. I mean, what are we talking about here? Where are we going? I went to Mexico. You know what they got in the streets of Mexico? Guys with were they AK-47s or wherever they got it, sitting in the streets. Do we want that here in our country? Would that make you feel safer? If someone tell you to shut up and keep walking, and they got a big old gun to sit there looking at you and your family, would that make you feel? That doesn't make me feel safe at all. Do I want tanks or what? And I'm going to say tanks. Do I want Humvees driving down? I got you. Do I want Humvees driving down the street with guys in the back of them with, you know what I mean? No,
we already had the tanks going down the street during the parade. So.
And no one wanted that. No one wanted the parade. No one even went to it. Like, what is this, man? What do you want? These guys didn't even march right. They're like, they didn't want to be there. They're like, they didn't teach us how to march. We need to go get North Korea and have them come over here and teach our guys how to march because they didn't know what they were doing. Those guys do great over there. They kick their legs all in sync like this.
We don't kick our legs here.
Yeah, we need to because that's the only way I want to go see a parade. Because I want to see guys marching like this and then turn all at the same time. That's the only way I'm going. But the point of this is, man, this is only going to happen in blue cities.
Obviously, you've never been at a marching change of command ceremony.
I've never.
So
have.
I don't want to hear it come out of your mouth.
Hey, I watched them on television, man. The best ones I saw so far were in North Korea. You
have not sat there in 96-degree heat with a dude standing behind you with an unsheathed bayonet on his rifle, waiting to pass out.
We're not disciplined enough to do this, man. This is crazy talk right now. You know who else I saw do it? I saw old photos of Nazi Germany where he had his troops marching the same exact way in synchronization, man. That's what I want to see. Not his people, but ours. But let me get back to the point of this situation right here. This is the only place this is going to happen. Like he told you, Baltimore, New York City, Chicago.
Baltimore is a pit.
Oh my gosh. You know how many other pits there are? A lot of them. You know where the
crime capital? Akron, Ohio is a pit.
You know where the crime capital is? I think Memphis and places like that are like the crime capitals. Like they have the highest murder rates. He hasn't brought these places up. He's brought none of them. Bring up the place where they got the most fentanyl deaths. Go there. Send all the troops in there. He doesn't want to do
Ohio.
It ain't
Ohio.
It might be somewhere in Ohio.
You know
what he's not going to do? Send anybody into Ohio. He hasn't brought it up. You know why? Because it's not about that, man. As if it were, he would deal with that problem. This dude's we're not paying attention that we have somebody here who's dangerous. He's dangerous, man. What did he say the other day? Hey, so Zelensky, so you guys can't have elections because you're at war? He was like, oh, this sounds like a great idea. So if there's a war, you don't get to have an election, huh?
Why? But I mean, I don't understand why they can't have an election during wartime.
Oh my God, dude! I know why. I can understand why we could do it because it's different. No one's ever attacked America. No one's ever. I mean, okay, you got Pearl Harbor.
What?
You know what I mean. Let's sit back and
technically they weren't part of the United States yet.
Okay, mainland America, even just mainland America, we haven't really had a major attack. Maybe on 9/11. Okay, if we're over. If we could have held elections 2 days later and everything would have been cool. And we'd have been worried. Everybody been scared, but we could have done it. But okay, if we're fighting over in Europe somewhere and we can hold elections in our country, but if I got bombs raining down on me and I'm telling people go to these centers right here to do this, and I know.
So you're saying he should pull an FDR? Is that what you're saying?
He's already doing it. Who are you talking about? Zelensky?
No,
it's the best possible thing that I can do is not hold elections if I'm being invaded. If I'm being invaded, how do I hold elections? How do I do that? If I'm having bombs, I tell people, hey, we're going to send you guys to this locations over here to go vote so we can kill my people.
They have this thing called, I'm sure they could do absentee balloting or send out ballots like they did in the United States, right?
You know what I wouldn't do?
You might as well just be a dictator.
A short term. He is a short-term dictator in his country. He was forced to be this. He was forced into this role.
Do anything.
He was not. He was invaded.
His country
It's in their constitution. They cannot do it
under
war.
Obviously, he's not getting the job done.
They understand. I think he's doing a great job. You only got a fifth of my land. If I had America next door to me and they only took a fifth of my property, I think I'm doing a great job over a 3-year period of time. I'm
just giving you hell, right?
I know we're just having a conversation like we always do. You know what I mean? But if we only took a fifth of Mexico over 3 years, they should be doing like this to themselves.
I don't want northern Mexico. You can have it. Northern Mexico is a pit.
I mean, Mexico's taking care of their business.
You take me down to Cozumel, I'll be all right to take that.
Any land nowadays, it's worth taking. I'm gonna be honest with you because they're not making any more of it. They're not making any more of it.
Let's kind of segue into a different aspect of military. Okay. What are your thoughts about special operations going against cartels?
No, I don't think so. I think that we should negotiate with Mexico to make sure that that's being done. I do like the fact that he's mobilized troops on our southern border. I mean, it'll slow down illegal crossings. It'll also slow down any kind of drug trade.
Down to almost nothing now.
I mean, I believe that. I believe it's probably a lot lower. People are probably. I mean, at the same time, I believe that his policies are flawed. They're going to hurt us more than they could ever help us. And that slowing down to nothing is more based off the fact that when they get here, the treatment that they receive when they get here. I think it is more than just the troops being there. I think people would still try to cross if there was just troops, but they know when they get here, they're going to be subjected to hell pretty much when they come here. And I think that that's a negative viewpoint we have. Not to get off that point, but now he has a $250 visa requirements, all kinds of stuff. I mean, you're making our country unhospitable and towards other people. And I think that that's a negative thing for us to do. I think people love coming to this country,
well, okay, go ahead. We'll talk about that another time.
But I do believe that us sending in any of our special units or basically him talking about invading Mexico, which was his first thing he was saying about doing. If this was not going to be, because Mexico said they're not going to let, I wouldn't let us in our. If it was me out of Mexico, no way in hell am I letting America, especially not Trump, come in here and do anything, because he's going to go ride roughshod over your people. So
yeah, but Mexico's not doing anything. Mexico's not helping the situation at all.
I think that we're us and Mexico have a hand in the drug trade. I believe it 110%. We have these guys are turning themselves in record. I mean, is it conspiracy that we had that the Reagan administration was helping getting drugs from Nicaragua, the CIA, and everyone else?
That was 40 years ago, man. 40 years ago.
So just because we found out that one time does not mean it's not happening any longer. Are we?
It's not happening at the
do we think
extent that
people
it
are?
used to be.
Do we think the people who are bringing in tons of drugs into this country do not have people who they're dealing with on both sides? Are we?
Well, I don't doubt it.
JP Morgan, they got caught. When they get caught with $25 billion worth of cocaine or something like that on a boat on a JP Morgan ship. Yeah, I mean, do we? Yes, it is rampant. The drug money is.
Why are we not allowing then the special operations people to go and kick their butts and take them out?
This is what I believe. I believe anything
you
do.
What are you against there?
To me personally, if it's me, I'm going into another sovereign nation and doing anything to a sovereign country. That's our friend and our ally and our southern neighbor.
But what if they say it's okay to do?
If they say it's okay to do, then that's a different situation. That's totally different. Yeah, I mean, that's a totally different ballgame.
They said it was okay to do.
No, they did. I would never. I mean, if I'm them, I'm not letting you in here. I believe that Mexico probably.
Well, I think it's already a done deal.
At the end of the day, we have to already understand that our country is tied into this through our people. We take away certain pleasures from our people. at the end of the day, it's going to be a problem. So I think that's part of the reason why we're tied into this. Another reason, Mexico's probably thrives off of that trade as well too. It probably helps their people if you think about it. Imagine how much money is sent into Mexico due to this right here because of our habits in this country. You know what I mean? So that's another thing. But I just don't feel like we should be in our neighbor's backyard telling them what to do. But I do believe we should let them know, hey, we're going to defend our border. And you guys need to like somewhat take care of the situation, what's going on in your country. And there could be deals made to stifle that a bit more. I do believe that.
I mean, I don't see it. I don't honestly see it as a problem. If Mexico wants to stifle the cartels and the drug trade to make things safer there, why not?
They should.
Why not utilize the guys who are trained to do it?
I wouldn't let Americans. Why would I let Americans come into? I would never let a foreign power come into my country and do something like that. I think Mexico could do it themselves. I really believe they could. I believe that they're just not. They probably have a lot of that going on in their personal government. But what could also happen is it could backfire on us. Because if you take away that money from them, what happens to them? How much money is
a Mexican Senate commission has approved the entry of members of the United States Army 7th Special Forces Group Airborne into the country.
A Senate commission. Now, does that mean that's like saying our Senate has approved something? They have a president in that country. I don't
know how that
process. Yeah, you know what I mean? It could be, and it could be for any particular reason. It could be for them to come pick up these people here or whatever. But they're getting so many different people who are turning themselves in right now, like high level cartel members who are turning themselves in. They just flipped one of El Chapo's sons. So I mean, it's just, to me, I don't see us. We're making enemies in places we don't need to make enemies. We're making enemies of Canada. We're making enemies of Mexico. We need to keep ourselves.
How are we making enemies of Mexico if we go in there and take out the cartels? How's that making enemies with them? You'll have to explain that one to me, because that one doesn't make any sense.
To me, I mean, if Mexico requests at Mexico's request, if we go in there and do it, that's a separate situation. But if we're
not going to go in and invade a sovereign country without.
They said it. Well, Trump already said he would do it. He said he would do that. It's already brought this up.
But he's not going to do it unless Mexico says it's okay.
Okay, so that's different. Then if they say it's okay and it's a coordinated effort, let them lead the way. We'll go in there and help them, just like we've helped other times with certain things, and we'll have an objective to where we want to reach to. But I don't think that we should be. It should not be us with a bunch of boots on the ground running through someone else's country and causing a problem. That doesn't look good for anybody, because there's gonna be bodies later. We don't know how to use satin gloves when you send in the military. It's not gonna happen that way. There'll be a lot of people.
No. Now you're talking about special operators. That's a different story than just sending the military in. That's how they do stuff down there. They do it with satin gloves. They're tactical, and they take stuff out.
Do you think that these guys are? I mean, so at the end of the day, though, they're going after cartel leaders who have armies, private armies of their own, armies, a lot of weaponry and a lot of money to help defend themselves. So there's going to be war to a degree. There's going to be war unless you're using missiles and whatever else and guided this and that.
Gunships,
and third,
baby, gunships.
I mean that too. But that causes innocent. That also causes you're going to kill innocent civilians. You're going to kill people who may or may not have been involved in this, who are just so happen to be caught up in something because they live in a certain kind of an area or circumference. And that leads to problems. That leads to people dislike of America. At the end of the day, we don't need that. We're going to a point right now where America is going to be much more vulnerable. We just are. And on the world stage, Mexico's already being enticed by China. They're spending, I think they're becoming China's one of their biggest trading partners. They're putting a lot of factories down there, a lot of other things. We don't need this right now. But we can do is say, you know what, this is what our expectations of you are. We can give you help. We can give you intel to kind of take care of this, because if you don't, it's going to make it very hard for us to be able to do X, Y, and Z with you. Period.
Yeah, but the thing is, you have to remember that the reason you send special forces in, they're small units, right? They're not like brigade size, battalion size. They're small 12-man units going in at a time to take out specific targets.
Let me ask you this question: So should Mexico be sending in special units into our country to take out the people who are buying all the drugs from these people over here, who are making the demand for the people to even bring in the drugs?
That's what we have. That's what we have DEA, ATF for.
Oh, but we're not doing a very good job, because we're sending over billions and trillions of dollars over into their country, you know what I mean, to buy drugs from their country. I mean, if these people are poor, a lot of them are very poor people down here. So if you tell me that I can make some money off these rich Americans who have a huge demand for products that they can't get, but they can get them from you, What am I going to do? So who is the real problem here? Is the person who supplies it or the person who's demanding it?
It's
want
both.
this now.
It's both.
So why shouldn't they send in troops over here to stop that? Because the money's, if there wasn't a demand, there would not be a supply.
Well, in order to stop the demand, you got to stop the supply.
I mean,
right?
There's not.
That's the first thing.
I don't. I mean, This is what I'm gonna say.
You can't stop a demand. You can't stop a demand if there's still a supply.
If there's a, to me, I look like this. We make our own demands for. I mean, just with pharmaceutical companies make synthetic drugs that are just the same thing as these, and then all of a sudden they can get you something that it's like, look at heroin. They had oxycodone, oxycontin, all this other stuff they got going on here. They're making that. That's what brought the huge heroin and fentanyl, all this stuff to bear were these pharmaceutical companies. It wasn't Mexico. It wasn't the cartels. It was these guys right here in our own backyard, in our own country.
It's not just Mexico. That's the fentanyl's coming from China.
Yeah, but the agents of it are coming from China. A lot of I mean, but the point of it is, though, the demand arose from pharmaceutical companies here in this country. So should these other countries say, you know what, since you guys are making our people who are poor find ways to make money off you, who are rich, who are demanding that you give us something.
Whoa. The poor people aren't making any money. It's the cartels making money.
No, the poor people are
definitely
making money.
The regular Joe Schmo down in Mexico is not making any money from what the cartel is supplying.
So this is like this. Let me say this. So when
El Chapo's not making thousands of people rich down in Mexico because rich is one thing, but being able to live a little bit more comfortably than what you do. Let me ask you this question. So if there's say the Olympics is held in Atlanta, right? The main hubs of the Olympics are going to make money, but there's peripheral people off those who are selling T-shirts, who are selling food and whatever else. They may not be rich off of it, but their life is a little bit better off due to the fact of whatever's going on. So there's a lot of people making money off this drug trade. A lot of peripheral people making money. Yes, but they're not making. But the problem is until you stop the supply.
You think Americans are going to say, "Oh, we're not going to do drugs anymore. We'll just give this up now. This is over."
But if you stop the supply, if you stop the supply of fentanyl coming into this country, it's something along those, do something to at least slow it down.
What did we do in Prohibition? What did this country do during Prohibition? They stopped all the people from making alcohol. That was done.
And granted, they bootleg
and they did it. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to happen. Americans,
we have tried. Listen, we have tried this. We have tried with marijuana stores throughout the country.
Yeah, for
places that are legal, and they're still selling it on the streets for cheaper and crappier. So what's the point? They want to legalize marijuana federally, but what's the point if it's still going to be? They're probably buying more off the street than they are at a dispensary.
The reason why I say you should legalize it because it should not be a crime to smoke marijuana. It shouldn't be a crime. It's never been like a thing, or this person on marijuana, they went on a rampage and killed 50 people. You know what I mean? If they're going to go on a rampage and eat out McDonald's, pretty much what they're going to go and do. You know what I mean? That's the worst thing a person on marijuana has ever done. But they made it into this huge. Marijuana was a higher schedule. I don't know if that's higher or lower, which is the better, it's a higher, worse schedule than fentanyl for a long time, because they used it in the war on drugs as a ploy to hurt people, hippies, and people of color. We already know this is. I mean, so we got to stop. I mean, to me, I do believe that if Mexico asked us to go down there and help them with that problem, we should go down there and help them with that problem. Do I believe that us looking at Mexico's like they're the problem? No, they're not the problem. It's us. We're the problem, because one way or another, somebody, whether it was Colombia, Colombia's the problem. Whether it's this other place, you're the problem. It's always somebody else, but it always comes back to roost here, because at the end of the day, we're the ones who want the drugs.
But the issue is the governments in those countries where they supply it aren't doing enough to stop it. You know why? Because they're making money off of it too.
Because they're poor. These people are poor.
They're crooked. Else. It's not about being poor. They're crooked. They're being paid off.
Are we trying to say? Well, I mean, we have to remember.
You don't think they're not being paid off?
You got to remember, we've created a lot of these crooked governments through sanctions and through killing their leadership and a lot of things that we've done. We created a lot of these problems that come home to us. This is the first one we got to look at. Okay, look at in March when they had the heroin, when they were getting it from, what was that? I can't remember. Something. Marseille's, they were getting heroin from over there as well too. They were getting heroin from Vietnam. There's so many different countries that were bringing in different kinds of drugs into our country. When does it become the problem of we want the drugs here? They were bringing in so many drugs. America said, we're gonna start producing our own dope. You know what I mean? Hey, pharmaceutical companies. What was the one? I forget the one who just got hit for like $14 billion. Pecklers or something like that. Got hit for like $14 billion. Yeah, they just say, we're going to produce legally. We're going to let you go ahead and legally produce your own dope here in this country and start another scourge, which is how we got to fentanyl now. That's how we got here. So I'm just saying, I don't want to sit back and always point the finger at other people when it's really, we're going to find a way to get some drugs here no matter what. We'll make some synthetic drugs here if we have to.
I'm not gonna sit here and argue that point, because that does happen, yes. But I do think that we need to help Mexico, help those countries fight back and get rid of those cartels. It will make a big difference.
We've done it before. We did it down in Colombia. We did it in a bunch, and what happened? Now they're quiet.
You went down there.
Yeah,
that's what happened. You went down there.
No,
that country's ruined. That country's ruined.
Hey, no, what I'm saying is, look, but now, do you think that they're still not supplying us with drugs? They're just quiet now. They just say, what? We're going to ship it through Mexico. Let those guys deal with it, because there's a want in this country. I don't think there's ever going to be a point to where we don't have a huge want for drugs, because I read a study the other day. It says that in the United States, you have to work an average of 80 hours a week to not be to get out of poverty. 80 hours a week. To get this, I mean, there's other countries. I think Japan was like 14 hours. There's a bunch of other European countries inside of there, but those are probably countries that have universal health care, free education, a lot of other things that we don't have. We talk about, and me personally, I've said it, that we're the greatest country on earth. I said it a million times. I still say it to this day. But when you look at those kind of readings, it kind of makes me feel some kind of way. It makes me think that, you know what, maybe I'm flawed in the way that I'm thinking about this whole thing, because obviously that's the biggest reading on telling you. Your people will tell you whether you're the greatest country on earth or not, is how your people live at the end of the day.
Did you ever see the clip with the actor Jeff Daniels? I forget what movie it was or what TV show.
He was in the classroom.
Where he's in that big auditorium or meeting auditorium, and somebody says, "Well, America is still the greatest country in the world." He's like, "No, it's not."
Yeah.
And he came up with all these statistics, rattle them off one by one to say, we're 17th in education, we're this and this and this, and it makes you think. It really, you sit back. I know it's a movie or a TV show or whatever, but you sit back and go, really, he's probably pretty damn accurate.
Yeah, I mean, I watched this guy the other day, and I never like to hear this. He's like, America is already falling. We're already on the decline. You know what I mean? Like. And I never like to believe that. I never like to think that way. But the way that we're doing business, it shows me that it's true. It's true. We're not looking forward anymore. When you stop looking forward, you're no longer okay.
What do you mean by looking forward, though? What's that actually mean?
Power is projected forward. Strength is projected forward. Because if I'm just, this is my area of what I'm covering, but I'm not looking at anything past that. Someone else who's looking past me, I'm gonna tell you why. BRICS. Look at those guys. Look at the members of BRICS who are the people who are in BRICS. Those countries will account for more of the GDP. Like we're still thinking about, Europe and this and the third, and we accounted for the G7 at one time, accounted for this, this percentage of the world's GDP and the economic output. Going forward, that's not going to be the case. The population centers of the world are not a part of the teams that we're a part of anymore, and they're making new teams without us, and we're still sticking to the same old script. We got to change that. That's what I'm saying. I love this country. I want this country to be the greatest in the world. I have a vested interest here. You know what I mean? I'm not going anywhere. Most people who look like me don't know where they're from. I know I'm from Ohio. That's what I do know. I can tell you that much. If something did happen, it's one of the greatest places on earth as well. In some aspects. In some aspects.
Yeah.
But but I mean, that's just what I see. It
is where Buffalo Wild Wings got its start. Just so you know.
Well, that's good. That's
High Street,
great to hear.
Ohio State.
Okay. That's just great to know as well. But that's kind of the way I see it. I don't see us. We're not thinking the way we need to be thinking right now. We're not pushing ourselves. We're not innovating at the levels we need to. We're not. Even with our military, we should be ahead of. Yes, we have. We are ahead, but we could be so much further with better R&D. We should be looking on. I will be trying to sell more. We sell a lot of weapons.
That's what we're trying to. we're trying to become one of the leaders in the world in AI, and I think we're going to be one of the leaders in the world in AI. I think we will be the number one leader in the world in AI. That's where I think we're going with it.
I hope these things come to fruition, but education matters.
It does,
and that's something that this administration does not look at all as being something that they want to promote or push. Education. They don't. No,
I think they do. But I think they want the states to take care of it from now on. There's no need for the federal government to be involved in it. The federal government's all they've been doing is they're a piggy bank for state schools. That's
so
it.
Where do these people get the money from?
More school choice. Where
does the federal government get the money from? You know what I mean? I think that schools and everything should be federal. I mean, we should even be having levies to tell a school how much money they're going to get. Anyways, we should be making sure schools have money. We should be spending our money in the right direction, and we're not doing that. That's my personal opinion on the whole thing. We're not, But anyway.
I still don't think the federal government needs to be in charge of schooling. I don't, because every state is different. Every state is autonomous. They need to be able to run their own.
We should have federal standards. We should have federal standards.
Should we have federal standards? Because we tried that.
Yes, we should have federal standards, and then schools can go above that if they want to. You can go higher.
Federal standards, it didn't work out.
You can go higher, but that's because there's no enforcement of them. That's because we need to be putting out more money for it.
Because the education department was weak and feckless.
I can't say.
I mean, that the education department's only 45 years old. I think something like that.
And
in 45 years, they've done really nothing.
I think the education department was never intended and has never had the obligation or the job of going into each state and making sure these things were being done. They were just saying, you know what, we're going to try and supply them with the resources that they need. We need to start having more enforcement of those resources as well. More enforcement of what needs to be done, because we're pretty much letting our kids. I won't say they're failing. I won't say they're falling behind, but we should be the greatest nation on earth when it comes to education, and we're not. I think we are when it comes to higher education, but not.
My wife's a high school. Is a high school English teacher.
Mm-hmm.
She comes home with horror stories every day about these kids. They don't care. They don't want to do anything. They just want to look at their phone. That's all they're doing. They're biding their time till they can say, "I'm leaving," and they get out. And then what happens? It's the education system is not broken. I think it's the kids that are broken.
So that means the parents are broken.
It's the families that are broken.
Yeah.
And that goes for every ethnic group in this country. Period. It's not black, it's not white, it's not Hispanic, it's not Asian. It's all of them. They all they're COVID was a huge detriment keeping kids out of school. Because they said they followed the science, but there's no science around it. But what I'm getting at is the education system doesn't need to be run by the federal government, because they can't run themselves. They're running themselves, and every administration runs themselves into the ground. And it's just getting worse.
Education system was never led by the federal government. I think that we should have federal standards. I think we should have a better federal program put in place. I think states should be held to that higher standard and made sure that they're upkeeping those standards. That's all I really think.
I would like to see something like that, but we had 45 years to do it and nothing was done. Absolutely. So you have the national education, the teachers unions, who have way too much power in this country. They have way too much power. They have too much sway, and that I think that has hurt education in this country.
Absolutely.
But anyway, right. Good episode, Wesley.
With that, this is the episode of Civil Discourse. I am your host, Wesley. This is my co-host, Steve. We'll see you guys soon. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for joining us. And Michael Jordan is still the best basketball player of all time.
LeBron James.